Welcome to Module 1, The Myth of Biological Sex. In this module, we will discuss how sex is assigned at birth. How is a person assigned male, female or intersex? And what exactly is a person's genital makeup? Is it hormones, chromosomes, genitals, reproductive organs, all this or something else? And we'll also talk about what is the real purpose of assigning sex at birth and if it's actually useful to do so. We often tend to view the world in binaries: good, bad, healthy, unhealthy, male and female. But the truth of the matter is that our experiences, our identities, and people in general are more nuanced than that. Let's begin with a discussion on sex assigned at birth. A person's sex is assigned at birth arbitrarily by a medical professional by merely glancing at a person's genitals. So a person who has a penis and a scrotum is assigned male at birth. A person who has a vulva is assigned female at birth. And if a person has ambiguous genitalia, something that isn't clearly a penis and a scrotum or a vulva, then the person is assigned intersex. This is a very reductive way of looking at a person's biology. In fact, our sex starts to sort of form right at the stage of fertilization. What does fertilization mean? It is the meeting of the egg and the sperm. The egg will typically contain the X chromosome and the sperm may contain the X chromosome or the Y chromosome. If the sperm which contains the X chromosome comes and fertilizes the egg, then a person is considered female, which means that they have a vulva, they have female reproductive organs such as the uterus, ovaries, etc. They're a menstruator and they have secondary sexual characteristics such as breasts, broader hips, etc. that are typically assigned to a female. Now, if the sperm that contains the Y chromosome comes and meets the egg, then a person is assigned male at birth. What does that mean? The person will typically have a penis and a scrotum and will have internal reproductive organs that are considered male. They will also have secondary sexual characteristics such as more body hair, a deeper voice, and so on and so forth, which are associated with the male identity. Now, different kinds of chromosomal makeup, hormones, and other kinds of secondary sexual characteristics actually determine that a person is an intersex person. So, what we understand from this is a person's sex should not be assigned just based on their genitals. In fact, I'd argue that sex assigned at birth is a very redundant concept because a person starts to form their gender identity as young as when they are 3 years old, and we'll talk a bit more about it. But even if sex were to be assigned at birth, it can't be assigned based on just looking at a person's genitals. It has to be based on their hormones, their chromosomes, their entire genetic makeup, and basically like their secondary sexual characteristics as well, what you see on the outside as well. It has to be determined based on all those things. So the way that we understand sex assigned at birth currently and the way that it is understood in common parlance or the way that medical professionals approach it is actually wrong. This is an extremely important discussion and it is very important for us to learn more about this because forced surgeries are being performed on intersex babies to this date. Being intersex is not a disease. Being intersex is just a different way of being. So to perform a surgery on an infant to fit them into these boxes of male and female is actually a violation of their bodily autonomy. And in fact, the Tamil Nadu High Court has ruled against forced surgeries unless there is a health emergency. So now you know.